I don't get news or anything. Like, I guess on Reddit you can like come across articles and stuff, but other than that, like I gotta go find it, and so it's convenient if it's just automatically playing, and then I can just turn around and listen to it every once in a while.
Reddit is my news.
Yeah.
Can you, which is probably bad. Can you enable screen sharing, Esteban? Okay, there we go. Whoa. A screen share.
Idea.
Let's take it back a little bit. All right. Part of our productive meeting. And y'all are asleep. You're all going to be like falling asleep, huh?
Yeah.
Being real. Dude, how do I put you guys like on like galleries view? I just see Sean's face, and it's kind of that's like bad, but oh, there we go. There you go. All three of us.
You don't want to just look at my face?
Nah, dude. Nah, I really don't. Okay. So last time we talked about each other and the founders, what we're all about. We talked about like broad variety of different ideas, and they centered around like the improvement of humanity, kind of like lifestyle, skill set, basic skill set stuff, how to approach things, and how to bring everybody, all of humanity with us. This kind of goes into like politics, communication, home, energy, disaster, everything, basically. The things that directly contribute to what makes us as a person. We're interested in that. Makes us as a person or a community. So today's meeting is all about brainstorming different ideas. And so the purpose of this is to brainstorm with the founders, and then we would, at the same time as we brainstorm, we kind of like get alignment together, because all of us are brainstorming together. So it's like, if the idea of the company isn't good, then it's like, now's the time to really shift things. Now's the time to really come up with better ideas. So important points are to disconnect from distractions, and then also no judgment. That means like, one conversation, we focus on the task at hand, encourage wild ideas. So like, even if like someone's saying they want to be like the next president and blah, 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 or like the next president's going to be the three of us. It's just like, you just go wild with ideas, and there's no limit to them. And when someone says a crazy idea, you jump on top of it, say another crazy idea that branches out from it. A facilitator will be needed to make sure that everybody is going on different chains of thought, rather than just like following a group think. I don't know. My thoughts, Sean, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Steve, I'm down to keep going in circles. What do you think? Sean, what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do my best. What am I supposed to do? Just
basically like
encourage you?
Well, like if one of us, say like, for example, like say I go down like a path and I'm just like, oh, okay, this, and this, then, and like Steve's saying something that's like branching out from it, then you kind of are like, okay, let's follow Steve's train of thought. And like, let's jump on top of Steve's idea and say like, yes, and to that. So brainstorm's all about yes, and. So taking someone's initial idea and branching it out, creating it as a tree, branching it out. And then your job is
what if I don't like Steve's idea and I like your idea, the way that you're going?
Then you're racist again. That's the theme of the day.
Okay.
I'll say you're a fascist instead. It's a little more accurate. I don't know. Think of a different insult and we'll hurl it at you. Stop being a Sean. That's what we'll say.
I'll do my best.
The power is in your hands, facilitator. So, point 7. So this is kind of like the way to frame our brainstorm. Instead of focusing on who will pay for that idea and like how to sell it, focus on like what is the person that you're going to create this idea for. When you create this idea, who's it going to give value to? So that's kind of like you're thinking with that should frame your train of thought, because if you're giving value to someone's life, they're going to pay you for it. So it's and that, I think this point 7 really kind of goes along with point 4, which is encourage wild ideas, because sometimes we think like, oh, I can't get this product because nobody's going to pay for it. But if it's wild enough and it's like valuable enough, there's going to be people that pay for it. Okay. So, I wrote some ideas down yesterday, just kind of like some stuff we can have. I can write the first one down and we can just kind of branch off from that, and then next person. Yeah.
So you're just like writing down, like, so when we're branching off, like, are you putting that in here, or like, how does tracking everything go?
We'll just write down all of the ideas. This will be like mini ideas today. And then depending on like, we should just keep going like through the pain, because there's going to be a point where we're just like, fuck, I have no ideas. And you just keep putting them out there. And then the next step is to say what the idea is, like this, put the idea here. And then what industry is it in? What end user is it in? Who's the end user? What would they use it for? And then, so like end user really focuses on like the tiny category of people that find this the most valuable. And when you see it, so like, for example, end user here, it's a foundation of a market segment. So saying just a teacher as the end user is too broad. You would specify and say young suburban primary school teacher. And at that point, you would have like a variety of different ideas, different industries, and then different end users. And you can kind of come up with new ideas from that foundation, or merge ideas and say, hey, this one is good. This one is good. The end users are similar. Let's put them together.
All right, dude.
All right. So yeah, let's just do idea lists until we can't anymore, and then we can see what's next. Do you guys want to start it off? Do you guys have anything?
I got one thing.
Okay.
A hamburger on a stick.
Hamburger on a stick.
You know, like hot dog on a stick, but like hamburger on a stick. You feel me?
What about lasagna on a stick?
Oh man.
What you got, Steve?
You guys took all the good ones. That's fine.
Lasagna on a stick.
I got another one.
Burrito on a stick. All right, we got to get away from sticks now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Steve, you got an idea? I got one I can throw out. Let me just pull it up though. Okay. Oh, y'all, I can't see my screen. So I can let me get to it. Okay. How do I do this? Let's do this. You can see my screen there. Can you see that screen on the right?
No. I think you're only sharing the Excel browser.
Gotcha. Boom. You can see them both now?
Yeah.
I only see
just the one, but I can see the other screen now.
Desktop. Okay. I'll just do that. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this one. So I had this idea where I said use technology to build sustainable, universally centered communities. So that's Earth-like and human-like. So Earth, human-centered tech communities. So that's like, I think this one's a little bit more concrete. Develop a system to communicate community inputs into predicted outputs. So that's saying, figure out what goes into a community to make it either a good or a bad community. And yeah, that makes sense a little bit?
Yeah. What is this thing?
Oh shit, dude, this thing, you guys see that? Your screen goes, like I have you guys in gallery and it goes landscape instead of vertical. It's dope.
Oh yeah, I changed mine to that so I could see your screen.
That's dope. Okay. Zoom's best. So let me see if I can just brainstorm, branch this out so that you guys can interpret it better. Community inputs and outputs.
Doesn't that kind of just boil down to like a community meeting, like town hall sort of meeting where they like decide, I don't know, like budgets almost? Like,
yeah. So it'd be like create a flow of money and decisions into well-being. So like it would be like analyzing various flows of people making decisions, flows of money coming in, various aspects that make a community and how they influence the people. So the idea would be more like an informational idea, right? Like a research idea in a way.
So the output would be like what?
Well-being.
So it'd be subjective to
Yeah.
that specific community, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, let me expand upon that. So we could say create a guide to show the positive and negative impact of household products. Right, so that would be like when you buy a bottle of Lysol, what is the positive impact of this? And that it kills germs and that it creates a better future for humanity in a way like that. At the same time, the negative impact is that you're using plastic, which contributes to all this waste. You're creating this, which does, you know what I mean? Like just looking at all the negative impacts of it, positive impacts, figuring out like, in the end, it would be looking at all of them and figuring out like which ones are the best that do the job without hurting everything else. Finding that, you know, like with engineering, it's not so much that we're creating new things, it's that we're finding a balance between all things. That's what it would be eventually. Makes sense?
Can you expand it outside of household products? You can do anything pretty much, right?
Yeah, to show the plus minus of entertainment choices. So it's super subjective, but that's what makes it like creative and difficult, I think.
Yeah.
Create a guide of what you eat as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Of reading choices.
Read or eat?
Eat.
Is it eating? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Eating
You
choices.
do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could, right?
Plus minus reading choices of create a guide to show positive and negatives of internal paths of thought, like internal dialogue. So like, for example, you would say one person would just kind of like do an experiment. We'd say like, Gavin would say, I'm stupid all day. Like on every hour, he would repeat it 30 times. And Steve would say, I'm the best 30 times every hour. And then we'd have like a experiment at the end of the day to show like how our mood was changed and like what we got accomplished that day. And was I able to push through the stupidity, and was Steve elevated by the best? You know what I mean? Do experiments like that. So yes, I'm gonna jump to a new one. This one, I really like this idea. So like what I started doing is like, I remember we were talking about pain points last time. So I wrote pain points of saying like, I don't like how companies have my information and are getting money off of it. And then I wrote 5 different ways to combat that. And it was pretty hard. So I would find kind of like nuggets out of the 5 sometimes. This one I really liked, where it was like, Google, all these people have our information. It was like, what do we do? It's hard to protect our information. So what we do instead is like unionize citizens, which say like a group of 2,000, 5,000 people say, hey, you can't have our information until we get some of the profit. Boom, unionize. And so Facebook would kind of be like hurt for that informational data. I don't know how realistic it'd be looking at stuff like that. Can we unionize against? I mean, that's what companies did in the industrial age, or people did in the industrial age.
Yeah, the whole problem with the data is like you're willingly giving it to them. Like when you're using Google, you're literally using Google. You like consent to them pulling all that data.
Yeah.
Like
wait, remember, say yes and it's yes and it's not like.
All right.
You get me? You get me?
Yeah.
Like even if it's a stupid idea. So you just be like, yes, and like, what else can you unionize against? So, so it would be create platform to unionize citizens against Facebook and Google.
It could also be like create a social media platform where you pay the users to use it by, right? And the way you create that business model is it's sort of like a nonprofit social media platform where you're collecting the data off of the users, but then at the same time, you're selling that data and you're paying the users to give you data. And you're not making billions, but you might still be able to make millions, you know, because data is so expensive. It's like the new oil, from what I've like heard comparisons to.
Yeah, and you could even, so say you do create social media platform, charging based off of use and giving only the users the information, which would be even more than before. I don't know.
Yeah.
Be a greater, like think of all the ads that you could make towards people if you knew like where they were all the time. And like, you know, people wouldn't be down for that so much, but like if you're a company owner that owns a coffee shop and you know that these people come at a certain time and these people like doing this, and so you sell directly to those people, you're basically taking a sample size out of the whole community in a way with all that information.
Right, and you could even like link it to their bank accounts and be able to see what money they spend it on, and that's all super important data when you're targeting businesses.
So it'd be like social media account that you pay for, but it would be, you would pay for it, which would give you privacy, but then only you could take advantage of that privacy. It would be a community more so than what Facebook is.
Yeah.
Huh, okay, that's interesting. Let's keep going along that social media platform. Create social media platform. I'm just going to copy this. I think we can come up with more ideas for this. Based off of horoscopes.
I think maybe like super localized. I know almost everyone is spending time in their neighborhoods now because of the quarantine. And you might not know your neighbors. You might not know, you know, the owners who run the local store down in downtown, and having a platform where it's only people within 5 miles from you can connect with you. It might actually bring a sense of community, because then you can actually see who is in your community.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that, because you could like, it would like recommend you friends based off of your location.
Right.
And so it would let you make new friends. Yeah. Create social media platform based off of
skill sets.
Okay, like a LinkedIn, but more social.
Right. So like if you want to learn how to use a saw, right? Or if you want to learn how to be a plumber, like someone who you can link with, they can actually teach you.
Okay, so more like a apprenticeship in a way.
Or mentorship, yeah.
Yeah, okay, mentorship. So like, for example, just to show you guys how this idea thing would work, it's like if we had multiples of these, we could combine them and say like, okay, what if you add this with this, and it targets the same end user?
Okay.
So it'd be like, sorry, this one and this one. So like a localized mentorship and apprenticeship platform. That would be the idea behind it.
Yeah.
And then so like I go along that disaster route well, and so like if you did a localized neighborhood mentorship and apprenticeship type setup, then if you have, say you have like a natural disaster, you could have already linked up before that and said, hey, these people in this area of town are responsible for this. These people in this area of town are responsible for this. Kind of like an emergency prep in a more elaborate way. We do that with like fire department, the police officers, but that's a bunch of wasted resources of people that aren't put to use.
Yeah, I mean, if like people have space to in their garage to like store food or water, things like that. That way you don't have to do it, but then you can help and stockpile like medicine, and then go into the idea of like, as a community, we'll get through it because we're all going to lean on each other based on the stuff that we're able to take care of.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. It's cool. It's a good idea. Realized. Based off of interests. So like it would be, I guess I kind of have that, but it'd be like basing friends off of your interests. I don't know. Basing, adding friends off of interests. Anything else? Not good. Okay, just kind of jump started thinking. This one I said, I don't like how I have to figure out where to put up boundaries that will make me have a better life in the future. So create information to help people build a roadmap to a leave in the blank kind of life. So basically, kind of similar to what we were saying earlier about the inputs to the outputs, saying, creating a path that says, if you do this, you're most likely going to have this kind of life. If you do this, based off of like habits. So like if you work out, you're going to most likely have this kind of life. If you take care of the relationships around you, you're going to have this kind of life. If you care too much about the relationships around you, you may have a probability of falling into this trap, kind of thing. It's more like self-development. This one, okay, this could be like kind of social media based, like we were saying. This one says like, build a roadmap where people all write down their steps of, create a roadmap where you have steps to follow, and then you're in a social media platform where other people have their roadmap. You all share that information, and you have your like roadies, your groupies, to keep you accountable to like what you have scheduled. So create a social media platform around a roadmap and accountability.
You can fill it with experts and things like that. So that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Go with experts, therapists, all that stuff. And you'd also kind of go into an idea of like ethics too, because you'd be like, hey man, is your roadmap really like, yeah, you're trying to make all this money, but like, is that really going to make you happy in the future? Or are you like, is what's going to make you happy both making money and being extremely like purpose driven about keeping people healthy or something like that?
Right.
My little flux thing is going off. There you go, I can see you. Okay. This is kind of, we talked about this. This one was kind of like create the steps to build more of a community among your surroundings. So like it would be figuring out that input of like, if you do this, what will happen with your surrounding? So like if you say hi to people on your street for 3 weeks straight, never missing a person, will that come back to you? Will people be more receptive? Oops. Okay. Says, I don't like how I feel that there are people out there who are ignorant and don't see leaders in the same way that I do. So build a business. So that's kind of what this is right here, where it's kind of like show the process of building a business so that you can show like what a leader does for the community. So you can branch off of that, build a business to show people how leaders should spend their time in the community. So you could create a YouTube channel to document good things that people are doing. People are doing in their neighborhood. Yeah, so that'd be like, I don't know what a good thing is like. It would be like average people doing their job well. You can kind of get specific here.
Or like doing community service around the neighborhood, cleaning up a park, something like that.
Okay. Okay. While we're on that idea, create a YouTube channel to, what was I going to say? Document, I was going to say document like average, everyday people. Because I think like even the everyday person is doing something good, but they're doing something good because they're not doing something bad in a way. Like we're a lot better than we think. Steve, I remember we talked about this where there was this one Japanese filmmaker who would take all his shots at a lower angle than every other camera guy. And so the whole point was as he had that angle lower, it made people seem greater than life. And so he could tell average stories and you'd get the perception that like you should be listening to the story because it was greater than what was actually being told to you. And it shows that life is far greater than we think it is, and we're greater than we think we are. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What was this one? Spend time to understand other people's perspectives and why they see poor leaders as beacons of hope. So it would be document people that follow poor leaders and find out where they went wrong. So find people that are like older than us and tell their stories. Find elders and tell their stories of who they voted for and where they think they went wrong.
I mean, like a similar thing with the leaders is just like set up something to like analyze poor leaders and like how they get a following, basically. Like what kind of strategies they use, sort of, and how to like recognize like fallacies or whatever it may be.
Okay.
But it's like it's not really like recognize poor choices. It's like they were able to get following for a reason. Like they presented information a certain way to like persuade people. So it's like understanding their strategies, basically.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like recognize their strategies to capitalize on other people's biases. Or
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, their strategies to capitalize on. Is it self-bias? Is where you can't find your own?
Yeah, I think.
I was going to say capitalize on bias.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. On to kind of jump off on that point, there was something that we talked about in the past where it was like, I think create a YouTube channel to find out the roots of tyranny and not, I guess, fascism, or like I guess dictatorship is the right word. Fascism, dictatorship.
Mm.
Yeah, along the same things, right? Like figuring out like what is the strategies they use to like capitalize on people. How do they shift people? Like what in history makes people vote for those things? Like what in history was moving to make people have those incorrect ways of thinking?
Yeah. And just like using that to analyze current leaders, I guess. And
So use history and
Be like history and psychology almost.
to analyze current and future trends.
Yeah.
Oh, to analyze. Did I do that? I repeat words. To analyze current and future trends. You saying political or like, yeah, I guess in all?
Could be anything, because I mean you have political leaders, but you also have like cult leaders.
Okay.
Or even like social media people or celebrities who have kind of social leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In companies too.
Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. I was thinking about that one a lot today. Like, I was thinking about there's a book I'm reading, Rise and the Fall of the Third Reich, about how like Hitler came to power, and I was thinking that like we're in a time where like not only the right are like talked about as if they're like Nazis, but the left are as well, and I think it comes from like not the left or the right that are like the Nazis, but like there's a trend of Nazism or a trend of that in our whole society, a trend of like not thinking for ourselves and like dictatorship and tyranny in a way, coming from both sides. And so it'd be good. So like you'd use history to talk about that. I mean, you could even use science.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so a big part of that is like quantum theory, where I think that like it shows that like the consciousness, it shows that you have one effect when there is no observer, and then you have another effect when there is an observer. So it shows that like the observer and the person are directly interrelated with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if you could use that and like kind of like brainstorm about science things by, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if you could take that further. Basically saying that like a person's psychology determines how they see the world, and how they see the world determines how they act upon it.
Yeah.
Or even how like social pressures change the way you act. You know, just like people around you, people being able to see you do good deeds or bad deeds, that's going to change the way you act.
So analyze the extent to how people see you.
Maybe analyze the extent of how we're all social creatures and need approval from others. You know, sort of kind of going back to what Sean was talking about, like cults and stuff. Like people don't just join cults; it's because they have that sense of community in a cult, and they're attracted to that. So
something like that. Of how us being social creatures impacts
actions.
Our actions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you.
We can also focus on the context, right? Like context really changes. Like right now, people like in the Orange County area refuse to wear masks, where people in LA area are like, it'd be odd if you're not wearing a mask. So like the context of everything, so being able to apply that to whatever we're analyzing, if it's going to be in a historical sense or using the scientific sense.
Yeah, that's exactly like, if you take that quantum theory approach, that's what that's saying. Like, in a way, we wouldn't have been able to identify protons if we had no context of what protons were. So context changes how you interpret something. So it'd be analyzing how the context changes our actions, right? Yeah. I was talking about that with my my mom today, because like I feel like, you know, like, I guess, I don't know if I should say this on YouTube, but whatever. Okay, so it's like, you know how like I feel like our generation, younger generation, they throw like the N-word around quite a bit, even if you're not like Black. I feel like people do that in a friendly way, and I was telling my mom, I think it's due to like the context of what they grew up in. Like especially in California, don't deal with the racism that was around 100 years ago, and because of that, that word has lessened in meaning because of the context. So you're able to do something like that. I had like I told my mom I had like a gay friend that like I could call the F word, and it would just be a joke because we were friendly in context, and it would just be fun, and it'd be like a dig, just kind of like when I'm, I don't know, making fun of Sean for acting like, I don't know, like white or something like that, you know? You make a dig at somebody for their identity, and it's like no big deal because it's in a friendly context. And so I was telling my mom how like the point where you can do that signifies peace, and when you can't do that, it signifies an element of like war or like battle. And so a big indicator of peace is being able to say what's freely on our mind and not having repercussions, because people don't automatically assume it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, one observation that I've made is like women are like sometimes will say like, "Hey, bitch," this and that, right? And then they're friends, and then they'll call each other bitch all the time. But that's because they're in the in group. They're friends, and they're, you know, in a good like relationship. But if someone were to walk outside of that group and say like, "Hey, bitch," it's totally different meaning, and it's like offensive in that way. So that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, our whole point, if we want to build, like, we have the idea like of world peace, and people laugh at it, right? Because it's like, fuck, it's not going to happen. But like, for world peace to really happen, everybody would have to be on the in group, you know? Yeah. And that's so otherworldly to us, I think. It would be interesting analyzing what makes world peace so unattainable. Yeah. Analyzing what makes, I would say, peace, world peace, out of our mind. So I think like these all can, in the same way, like when you combine ideas like this, these all could be combined into us talking about things, us doing research. Like, right, we can have a discussion instead of like going down the list. It's like, this can be combined with this, and then like it can even go back to like fascism and tyranny and dictatorship, because like in a world of peace where you can say what's on your mind and like you mean it in a joking way, you wouldn't be able to make a joke in a tyrannistic or a tyranny or a fascist kind of world. And I think it's almost like the dig at like cancel culture right now, because that's the root of the dig at cancel culture. Cancel culture is all about like, you can't say this, and that's a form of tyranny itself. And it's like, what if I love this person and I just want to make fun of them? like you just want to point fun at other people. Like that's, and it's like, if it was a peaceful world, you could do that because they would know that you would mean no harm, but they don't know that you don't mean any harm. So because of that, they clamp down, and they're, without realizing it, saying, hey, you're doing bad things. So they do a bad thing. They say, hey, you're being a jerk to me, so I'm going to be a jerk to you. And that's kind of a little slippery slope to tyranny. And it's not their fault, because tyranny isn't made by one side. It's made by the whole mix of people. I think you could lump all these together, I think. Yeah. Just a side note, I think, at least for us, like right now, this is a really like hot topic. I would find a lot of enjoyment in this. The reason I was thinking about it today is like, I would find a lot of enjoyment with this because this would be like acknowledging your like self biases. And I feel like Sean, like with what you talked about like building humanity for the future, like I'm more about like finding inner peace and like making sure that you're not the asshole. And then yours is about like building upon like the external thing and making sure that like we are doing the right thing together. Mm-hmm. And that's acknowledging both sides, because like you can't just charge ahead and do whatever you think is right, because you could be wrong. So it's about like doing what you think is right while also listening to the other side. I think that's kind of like relative to your realm. And then Steve, like building a community, that's about this too. Like what goes into building a community that doesn't have a root of fascism and tyranny at the bottom of it.
Right.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this a lot today, this group. Mm. Okay. You got time? Is it? Okay, we're close to time. Okay, let's see, a couple more. One idea, create a platform to connect hitchhikers, essentially, backpacking hitchhikers across the country with farms, families, and businesses to do work and travel across the U.S. So that idea would be basically you say, hey, I'm on the West Coast. I want to go to the East Coast, and I can do work. I can do whatever you want me to do. I'll be like a DoorDash person, but I'm moving. So let's plan out, okay, you need me Tuesday to watch the dog. You need me Wednesday to clean your house. You need me Thursday to farm on your land. I'll be here this day. I'm hiking here this day. And I just need a bed. I just need a bed and some food. And that's all. And this would really connect people from like a college age to people, with a stable living.
That'd be pretty cool.
Okay, this one is saying like create a channel to bring two people of opposing views together to the table to have them listen and moderate it. So we could even say we do it between us three. So we have scheduled debates between us three. One person's a moderator, the other two have certain points, and they argue upon them. And we practice like persuasion skills, rhetoric, and we can have like some pretty creative, outlandish stuff, or we can have some pretty like basic stuff, whether say, Sean's going for Trump and then Steve's going for Biden. And like, you have to like legitimately argue with rhetoric to convince people listening on the other side. And like the moderator would make sure that like he would, I would point out like, hey, you're making a fallacy there. You're doing this here. And you would just emit the normal points that the media are making. But you would have, I guess the moderator would be most important to like identify what is really like, that's not true. You can't say that. That's rhetoric. That's the line. Watch that line. You know what I mean?
Mm.
A debate using rhetoric.
I've debated before, and I think that's really cool. So.
You fucking see who's gonna whip our asses. Okay, this one. Create a channel instead of talking about like a news channel. A news channel talks about what is happening. Instead, create a channel talking about what we should be doing. Mm-hmm. So rather than reporting on the ideas of today, we report on the ideas of tomorrow.
Ooh, I like that.
Tomorrow. Today. Honestly, that shit goes back to like, well, okay, so like, yeah, okay. Or you can make a channel, I'm thinking channels, right? So like you could create a channel where you just make some fucking really good ideas. And one channel is just like, one episode is like, hey, this idea would be creating a website where you like have backpackers are going across the country, and then like you'd have like a sample of that website, and you'd have like a little like skit of like somebody walking through a house or something, you know what I mean? Like it would almost be like selling it, and then you would just leave it. And so it would be in the hands of whoever is watching the video to actually make it into reality.
Sort of like an open source type of situation.
Yeah, like it to sell a Unreal or utopic product. Yeah. Okay. And so like that would almost be the reporting on ideas of tomorrow rather than today, because you could just kind of say like, here is what would happen if we had ranked choice voting, blah, 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 blah. You know? Okay. Make smart home electronic devices to monitor home sustainable use. That's water, waste, trash can, shower head, outlets. So that one's honestly not that hard. I don't know how to do it, but I feel like it's not that hard.
Not that hard.
Anybody could run a country, dude. Anybody could do that.
Could expand it to like money too, like get into budgeting sort of atmosphere.
How so?
Like basically just tracking your spending sort of thing.
A smart budget tracker?
Yeah. Like it kind of goes into like what we were talking about earlier about like pros and cons of certain products. Like you say like, oh, you're buying this, you're supporting this sort of cause, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
It'd be cool if it like used one of those like, you know, I'm pretty sure there's apps that like you like scan a receipt and it like uploads everything for you. They can like read the text. It'd be cool if it did that and then was able to see like what the product is and where it's from, who makes it, all that, and like how they make it.
On manufacturer information. I bet you that's all public knowledge.
Probably.
Yeah. Like some FDA stuff, right? And then I think the big question there is like, if it isn't, why should it? It should be. You know, like
Yeah.
I should know the food that I'm buying and what's in the rice and the meat.
Yeah.
So manufacturer information. So that would say how it was produced, negative pros and cons.
Alternatives, maybe.
Okay. Time. Sorry, I can't see the time. Is it time now?
8:28.
Oh wow, 8:28.
Yeah, dude.
I went by pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay, let's just do real quick. Any ideas that stand out to you guys? We can discuss them next time.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this one, dude.
Started out with hamburger on a stick, lasagna on a stick, and burrito, and then it just changed. Like,
yeah, right.
I mean, I like the analyzing leaders. That whole segment.
Okay, so I'm thinking 28 until 34.
Yeah. Also, kind of 27, I guess.
Find elders. Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Look at you could expand that. It's like that whole group is all leaders, right? You say average people are leaders as well. Community service, and then at the same time, like you're building a business to show how leaders spend their time in the community. It's fucking meta. I'll group those as one thing. This is all good. Just I'll group that as this. I like this idea. I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah.
So like these are the ideas that we're gonna look at next time more in depth. So let's just pick 5 real quick if you guys have the time.
Yeah.
Cool. Just go ahead.
I like the social media based off horoscopes. That really speaks to me.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm all wait. See. I like the local one. I like the local one and the mentorship, but I like the local one more. You want to just do like. Are
we like out of the yes and sort of atmosphere, or can I make an argument against that?
Sure. Well, you're the fucking moderator, dude.
The Nextdoor app, they already have like that localized neighborhood kind of thing.
Well, they're not doing it right.
It would have to like build more off of it, like how you have. I mean, like how you have the mentorship thing, yeah. But it can't like. I feel like that's too general as like the number 16. So it just have to be like catered to something like those second two.
But we have Lyft and Uber, and they're the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We have Burger King and McDonald's. Just because it exists doesn't mean they're doing it well. Doesn't mean there's a market for it. Boom, debated.
Okay.
he's all rhetoric. No, like I think that's completely like valid. Like it's shown like if we don't. I mean, I didn't know about that, and like I feel like if it's not out in the public sphere, like there's still a lot of like improvement and adjustments that you can make to it.
I've heard of the that app, but I've never actually used it. So
We'll group these.
That's interesting.
I think old people use it, to be honest.
I think it's more of a suburb thing than like a city.
Yeah. Yeah. You just group those first three all together.
These?
The burritos and the steak.
Okay, dude. Okay, so like this one sounds interesting, but I don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that kind of gets into that bottom one. That's why I was like kind of mentioning these, because it's like pros and cons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a good one just to kind of, well, let's put it down. I feel like the only way that you could realistically do this is by using some type of like artificial intelligence to take everything in.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you just aggregate all the data and then reference it. Like,
yeah,
it's just finding all that data first.
Yeah, that's gonna take like 2 lifetimes.
Not with that attitude. Yes.
Sean's like,
yes.
I like this idea. I like this idea and this idea. 36 and 39.
Mm.
I'll put them down or something.
I think 39 and the Internet of Things are going to be the next like iPhone type of market. I think it's going to be huge. But I'm sure we need coders or something of that sort. But I'm totally down to create like a product. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Especially, how do you create an electronic product that, for example, like the shower head?
It's definitely doable. I think it's like, I mean, like, I think give us a couple months and like we could do it.
Dang, a couple months.
At least have a prototype that works occasionally, you know? Like, I don't think it's that hard. And honestly, I feel like they probably have them out there. It would be like looking at what they have now and then finding out how to do it in the best way that makes it sellable.
Making it better, yeah.
That's a good point, because this could be a good like beachhead market, because it's something that is, you know, we know that there's going to be money there, and we know that it's good. We know people are moving that way, and it's just like you just need that freaking arrow to find the target. Okay, let's do it. Let's do that one. And then this one, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with what we got.
Well, you gotta hate on my idea.
Yeah, and it sucks.
There's supposed to be no judgment here, remember?
Rule number 4. All right, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ideas. So I'll put them down in this spreadsheet next time, and then we'll look at the end user and then kind of refine them more.
Cool.
Sweet. All right.
All right, good talk.
That's a wrap. All right, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.